recording.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. My name is Chastity Navarro. I am the events manager with the Boca Chamber, and we are excited to bring to you Alex Oliveira, who will present on how to market your business during these changing times. So before we get on to our presentation, I'm going to have Sofia Lopez give you a little Zoom housekeeping in case you don't know exactly where everything is. So.
Hi everyone, welcome. Before we get started, just did want to mention a few things. So we will be recording this entire presentation, so it'll be available on our YouTube playlist later this afternoon. We will also be sending the PowerPoint presentation slides to everyone in a follow-up email after this presentation, so you have them to reference. This will be a very interactive presentation, so we will be running a couple polls. So please feel free to answer them. They're completely anonymous. A little box will pop up on your screen. You just answer, and then we will share the results with everyone after the poll is done. We will also be doing questions throughout, and then also an open Q&A at the end. So if you go to the bottom of your Zoom screen, there should be a little toolbar. There's a chat icon. You click that, you can type your question in there. I will be monitoring the questions and verbalizing those with Alex, our speaker. There's also a virtual raise your hand button. So if you would actually like to speak your question or chat about anything, you can press that and then we'll call on your name. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophia. So now, without further ado, let's introduce our awesome speaker today. Alex, as a hands-on leader of multiple successful companies, Brazilian-born and South Florida raised, Alex Oliveira has helped clients advance their business and brands by building and executing interactive marketing campaigns for over 15 years. With a heavy emphasis on lead generation, Alex has created a name for himself as well as respected digital marketing and entrepreneurs. From small to mid-sized companies to nonprofits and Fortune 500 brands like Ford and Allstate, Alex enjoys a diverse portfolio of clientele. Alex's other passion includes adventuring with his wife and 4 kids, giving back to the local community, and having his morning coffee with a side of NPR. And joining us with his coffee in hand, Alex Oliveira, take it away.
Here you go. Yeah, it's late in the day, so a little bit more tea, but thank you, everybody. Thank you, the Chamber and all the attendees here. I see a lot of names and faces that I recognize, so can't wait to shake your hands in person or bump the elbow, whichever comes first. And hopefully, eventually, a hug, right? But in case I forget at the end, I do want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day because it's I think for a lot of people, they're away from their moms right now. My mom, I won't see her this weekend, but hopefully we'll be able to catch up. So, you think about this whole pandemic, it's affecting us in so many different ways. And, you try to make the best of it. And I think the topic today, which is digital marketing in a pandemic, no one has the blueprint. I don't have the blueprint. It looks nothing like the recession in 08. It looks nothing like the dot-com bust in 01. And so it's new, and what I say is just, it's not really about marketing. It's about fighting for your business, fighting for your customers, and adapting to this new uncomfortable situation that we're in. And yeah, marketing is harder than ever. So, it's going to continue to be hard. If you are already having a hard time with marketing, it's going to continue being hard. But with that, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunity online, opportunity to pivot your business, create new product lines, new services, and above everything else is focus on your current customers and really be helpful to them, right? So let's start with talking about the customer journey. So we'll go right through this first slide, which is the About Me, but we've already done that. So talking about the customer journey, I really, the opportunity here is for you to decide what efforts are you doing outbound, inbound, and just what comes to you out of thin air, just impulse buyers. So with the outbounds is basically like, are you doing ads, whether it's Facebook ads or Google ads, email marketing? In the inbound side is, are you doing SEO? So search engine optimization is mainly done through creating content for your website. So if you have a website, are you creating content consistently, right? creating new pages, making sure you're adding the right keywords. So that would be like inbound leads. And then of course, social media marketing. You can't ignore it. It's a little bit harder today because as you can see, the conversations on social media are predominantly based around COVID and people's healthcare and whatnot. So it becomes a little bit hard. I was talking to Chastity and Sophia before you guys came on. One thing right from the beginning that I advised every client, small or large, was don't sell your customers. This is not the time to sell people. It's not the time to have your staff call people asking for more money or in some cases, renewal of memberships. It's time to really ask them what they need and then see if you can fulfill that void. So really be empathetic to your customer. I have a lot of clients I'm working with where we're using design thinking, the design thinking framework, which uses innovation and uses empathy. So I would highly recommend that if you're going to redo some of your marketing, sales, and customer experience strategies, that you implement some design thinking methodologies. And it will go a long way because it starts and ends with the user, the end user, the buyer in mind. And there's a very big difference between customer service and customer experience. I would say that a lot of companies that I have worked with have great customer service, but they never thought of customer experience. And that is very different. So think to yourself, talk to your customers, and ask them, how can I enhance, how can I elevate your experience through the full customer journey? All right. And then the impulse is basically word of mouth. Word of mouth still works. And I think it's going to be effective for a lot of people. I have actually received more calls in the last 2 months from word of mouth than I have from digital. And we're a digital marketing consultancy. So definitely getting more leads from word of mouth. Loyalty is huge, rewards, and being there at that micro moment. That micro moment was a term coined by Google, which is when the consumer has their smartphone, and at that moment, they turn to the smartphone to look for your product or service. That might be plumbing. That might be a dentist. It could be anything, but it's the moment that they need it and they need it now. If you're not visible there, you're not going to get that call or lead, which is why I was saying you have to work on the inbound piece of it too. SEO, creating content, optimizing your website. So that's very important, the customer journey. So let's move on to the website. All right. So for the website, I broke it down. There are a lot of elements and variables within any website, a lot of technology behind most websites, but I really just broke it down into content, structure, and opportunity to provide better customer service through chat. So the first one is content. I really want you to take a step back and look at your website and send it to your friends, your family members, your colleagues, and just do a survey with your customers and ask the questions. Does my website have enough information? Does it have enough content? Am I targeting the right keywords for my products and services, right? Have I done competitive research, even from basic Google search? And am I getting enough inbound leads? And once you do that survey, then I think you can take a step back and say, all right, yes, I'm up to date, I'm doing these things, or no, I'm not. And if I'm not, then how do I do that? So content, I know, is very tough for every business owner. You're busy doing your business and you don't want to be a marketer. A couple of tools that you can use that are effective for creating blogs is a website called Text Broker. You can hire bloggers that will do your blogs for 20, 25 bucks. There are no doubts that there are other sites like Fiverr out there, but Text Brokers, specifically their marketplace of writers, are really good. So if you don't have time to create content, Text Broker would be an option, right? And as far as video goes, I know it's hard for a lot of people to create videos. There are certainly a lot of video production companies in the chamber, like Plum Productions and others. So there's challenges there, but video is important. Most search engines today and social media networks favor video. So even if it's an organic video like we are doing here today, where you're interviewing a client for a testimonial. Because by the way, probably the most important thing you can do for a prospective buyer or a lead is tell them how you did for other clients. So if you can do that, get on a Zoom call with one of your clients and have just an honest conversation about what you did for them. That in itself becomes a great review, testimonial, case study, and it'll go a long way. And that's probably the easiest way that you can do video with this whole social distancing. Now, for the structure of the website, things that you want to worry about is, of course, your security, right? Depending on what content management system you're using. You want to pay attention very, the speed of the website is probably one of the most important elements of the user experience. And it does impact your SEO and it impacts your bounce rate. So if you don't know what the bounce rate is, it's basically if you have an analytics application on your website like Google Analytics, when you look at the bounce rate, that number is the number of users who attempted to enter the website but bounced out. So if your bounce rate is above 40, 50%, you're losing half of those users, and that's very high. What you want to do is get it down to about 20%. And speed, again, going back to website structure and how that impacts your business today, the speed is very important. Another thing that might be impacting your speed is you just don't have the right plan with your hosting company. So take a look at that as well. It goes without saying that in 2020, your website needs to be responsive, which just basically means it optimizes and renders properly on every mobile device. So being responsive mobile is very important. If yours is not, take this time to make it that way. A great resource for that, for anything technical, would be Upwork. I know a lot of chamber members I've talked to have used Upwork. I personally use Upwork for a lot of projects, and you can find developers from anywhere around the globe, and you post your job, they bid for it, and that's it. So let's say speed. You might have a 50-page website that is preventing your users from loading, which means then you're losing clicks, you're losing leads and phone calls. Just by improving that speed, Google has shown that you can increase your conversion by 2.5 times actually. So definitely pay attention to speed. Use a platform like Upwork to find a developer who for a couple $100 might be able to fix your problem very easily, okay? Now, local listings is very important to your business, important to your website. And I know that Sophia is gonna put up a poll question about listings, specifically about Google My Business, all right? So the question is, have you claimed your Google My Business listing? And the follow-up to that is, if you have claimed it, do you have administrative access to it? All right, and it's okay to say, I'm not sure, because we're gonna talk about how you implement that and improve that, okay? But it is very important. It's how people who are searching online find your name, your address, and your phone number, okay? So it's very important that you claim it and that you have administrative access to it so that you can add your hours, manage your reviews, add photos, and there's a lot of other tools there as well. And so we're gonna talk about it at the end a little bit more. All right, and the next bucket that we have here is the chat. Excuse me. So with chat, what I've seen with a lot of clients that had never used chat, we implemented chat, and immediately we saw both their current customers and their old customers, as well as leads, interacting on the website, asking questions. They want answers to questions that they can't find specifically about your business. And there are a few options out there if you don't have the time as a business owner to manage the chat. You can use an application like Apex, that's APEX. What Apex does is they charge you only if that chat or conversation becomes a lead. If it doesn't become a lead with the contact information, you do not get charged for the customer service that they do on your behalf. And to do that, they have a basically onboarding process where they ask you lots of questions about your product and service. And they're trying to basically wheel in those leads and connect them to you. So, you know, chat could really help your business right now, depending on what vertical or industry you're in. Looking at ways to capture leads. We're going to talk about that in one of the following slides when we do landing pages. But the next slide that we're going to look at is your customer, focusing on your customer. I mentioned that at the beginning of our conversation, that right now, you know, just even comparing to the last few economical downturns, it was the companies who focused on their customer service, customer experience, delivering value. Those were the companies that stayed the long haul, small, medium, and large, okay? So you wanna be flexible with your customers. You wanna be understanding and empathetic. It's a domino effect. I'll give you a personal example that happened yesterday. I have a client out of California that we've worked with for going on 8 years. They're a publicly traded company, big company, and they are 2 months behind on their invoices. Well, of course, we're following up and we're flexible and patient, but the story is their customers aren't paying them. So it's a domino effect. And everyone's excuse is, my customer didn't pay me, therefore I can't pay you. So what we're trying to do is just be flexible and get concrete dates on when is this going to happen or that going to happen, because we still have to provide the service and pay our employees. So I try to be flexible on that. I try to be flexible on offering more products, more services at zero cost. So what we're doing with certain clients is coming back and saying, what else could we do for you to enhance your business at no cost, right? So it might be an hour over here creating an infographic for them. It might be another hour optimizing their website, even though they're not paying for that. So focus on your customer, offer more value is very important. The elevated experience, number 2, when focusing on your customer, go back to your entire customer journey for both prospects as well as customers, and go every touch point, write it down. When a customer calls in, this is who they speak to. This is how quickly we return the call. We send them an email. We do this, we do that. Have a process, a workflow, and then look where there is opportunity to enhance that, right? Where you can communicate better and drive more value. So that's the elevated customer experience that you could be offering today. And I would venture to say that most of us, there's room for improvement there. And then the last one, when focusing on your customer, is engagement. I understand that a lot of people don't like social media, maybe for personal reasons, but the reality is there's a lot of people, like some who are your customers, who are on social media. Maybe it's Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Instagram. Find out where they are and make sure you can engage with them, because if you're not engaging with them, they will certainly go to your competitor on social media. All right. Engaging on the website, we've already talked about that. Chat would be a very good way of doing that. Making sure your contact forms are working. You'd probably be surprised how many websites have broken forms. You go on it, you send a lead, your information, and the information never gets to the person who's managing the inbound leads. So make sure you can engage and communicate. Email marketing is a question that I think we had on the poll here. Do you regularly send out email marketing blasts to your customers? And when I say regularly, I mean like every month, at least once a month, if not once a week. And then what kind of content are you creating? Again, back to being helpful. Right now is not the time to do email blasts asking for more money or rate increases or anything like that. It's time to be helpful and say, here are some tips on A, B, or C. So if you're not sending email blasts, you're missing out on the opportunity. Believe it or not, email marketing still is the most effective, by far, has the highest return on investment. No marketer will disagree with that statement. We can be objective about certain things and have opinions, but no marketer will disagree that email has the highest conversion when it comes to your lead funnel. So definitely take a look at that. If you're starting from scratch, yes, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while because people are not used to getting your emails. What I suggest doing is making some phone calls, asking your top clients, hey, we started a newsletter. If you don't want to call it a newsletter, call it something else. And we're going to be sending it to you. Can you take a look at it? And it's pertinent information. And try not to make it too busy, right? So depending on whether you're using MailChimp or Constant Contact or one of the email marketing software out there, there are templates. And if you don't find a template that you like, don't stop there. Go to Fiverr, go to Upwork, talk to a local guy who can create a theme or template that is consistent with your brand, your colors, your font, right? The images that are important to you, your logo. And then the last one is really, when it comes to engaging with customers, is making phone calls and doing direct mail. For a long time, we were not doing direct mail. We are actually getting ready now to do direct mail again. And I certainly have customers who've been doing it for a long time, so they never missed a beat. But the phone call piece of it. So if you have an e-commerce business, it would make sense that if you've just been selling products to people who you don't speak to, you think that it should be the same way. And the reality is it's not. A company that you can look to model after would be like Zappos. So go to Zappos.com, look for a shoe, and go through that customer experience and see what happens. Even though they're e-commerce and they're owned by Amazon, so obviously they have all the money in the world, but their customer experience is next level. They will pick up the phone and talk to you for hours to try to get you the right product or service. So definitely phone calls is very important. All right, so now we've talked about customers. Let's talk about leads, because I know leads is what everyone is interested in finding out how they can generate more of. So you have to go back to your funnel, right? The marketing funnel from the top down, looking at the awareness consideration all the way down to converting a click or a call all the way down into an actual sale. You really have to look at that workflow and understand what you're doing today. So first and foremost, are you being helpful? Are you offering resources that will set you apart from the competition? Links to other websites, for example, to make it easier for your customers. So when you're sending out those emails or building those blogs, make sure you add some links that go to websites that you work with, right? And that'll help you. The content is very important for lead, right? So we talked about video. FAQs can be huge for you right now. We're doing it for customers, and we've been doing it for a while using Quora, Quora, Quora.com, as well as Reddit. Great websites for very next level, high level content. The audience that goes to Quora and Reddit is an audience that they are looking for content. They're looking for answers. So if today on your website, you do not have a FAQ or Q&A or knowledge base, create one. Think about the top 10 or 100 questions that your customers are asking you, write them down and write a long form answer, not a yes or a no, not a short answer, but very long. I mean like 500 words for an answer to a question. And then you add them to your website, set up an account on Quora, set up an account on Reddit, and you can share it on social media too, the other sites. But you will see that you're going to start to engage with a new audience that you weren't really interacting with, because typically the people who are on Quora.com, they are not the same customers or consumers who are spending time on Facebook or Instagram. The people who are on Instagram, no offense, they're looking for a picture, an image, that's it, a hashtag. They're not looking for long form content. So if you're in an industry like financial, legal, insurance, medical, you need to write long form. That's what sets you apart. So make sure you're writing long form content, put it on your website, go to Quora, go to Reddit, share it on social media, but be there. Be there more than your customers are there than your competitors are there for your customers. Sorry. Okay, educating. We've started that last year, educating customers. What I mean by that is we built a learning management system for clients. And what that was just building a series of courses about our service and teaching people about what we do. So it's sort of in the form of like a webinar or a live video, but you're putting it into coursework. So there's a couple platforms that you can use, like LearnDash or Teachable or Thinkific. LearnDash, there is a free subscription. So you could build out a whole course about your service. I know for the people who have brick and mortars, the business owners with brick and mortars or product type business, it's a little bit harder. But for those of you who are consultants or have services, you have knowledge. You're a thought leader in your industry. You need to be able to share that. And so it's a great way to, create a 3, 4, 5-hour course. You can repurpose that content. So that's the great thing about that content. And it's a great way to give it only to prospects who are lower in the funnel, ready to become a customer. So it's what I call gated content. You don't just give it to everyone. Not everyone can have access to it, right? All right. So with that same thought process, freemiums. Freemium is, we all know freemiums. And a lot of the platforms out there today are giving them away. Even the ones that didn't have free plans, because they understand we are under, this pandemic, and there's a good way to get people to continuously come back to them and become a member is to give it away for free. Now, a freemium is usually something between a free and a premium that lasts for 7 days or 14 days or 30 days or 60 days. And if you are building courses, how-to videos, whatever it is, and you want to make it gated, you allow your customers or your leads to go on your website, signed up for free during that period. But what's important is that you hold them accountable. You go back and you make them watch the webinar that tells them how to use your product or service. So that's very important when it comes to freemium. Otherwise, people signed up, they never actually engage, and then you lose them. All right, landing pages. There's going to be a poll about landing pages. Oh, thank you, Sophia. Sophia is on the ball today, I'm telling you. All right, so are your landing pages well optimized? I would venture to say 90%. That's right, I said 90% of landing pages are not optimized. First and foremost, a true landing page that is conversion optimized, meaning I want people to go to that landing page and either buy a product or I want them to become a lead. You need to put a lot of thought into that. For example, when I go to that landing page about that product, let's say it was auto insurance. I'm an insurance agency and I have a landing page for auto insurance. When they go to that page, at the top on the header, they should not see any other menu links, no menu buttons. The landing page is super simple. It's something that you want to convert into a lead, and the copy and the text and the images, everything that's there needs to be straight to the point, right? So it's a form, typically on the right-hand side, short form, a call to action button, a headline, attention-grabbing headline, right? Some bullet points, an image, some trust factors like your testimonials, and that's it. Your logo up on the upper left-hand corner, if that's where you like it, your phone number on the upper right-hand corner, that's it. Think of your landing page as your selling tool, like a flyer. It's a flyer, right? It's virtual, but it's a flyer. If you went out to a trade show and you were on the sales floor selling, you give people a card, you give people a postcard, maybe a trifold, right? About a specific product, but you don't give them a book because they're not going to look through the whole book. And if you're trying to sell one specific product or service, you want them to focus on that. That's what the landing page is. So if you offer 10 services or products, you should have 10 landing pages that are optimized for conversion. If you have 100, you should have 100. The beauty of it is until you start to A/B test what works as far as design and call to action, you can just create one landing page and then duplicate them all and then just change the copy, the call to action, and the images, right? So landing page is very, very important. All right. All right. Next here on leads is email marketing. Excuse me. I think we have a question about email marketing as well. We did that one already. We got the question about email marketing. So, when it comes to leads today, what you can do is look back at your database. We are doing that for many customers. We're going back as far as 3 years. I have a client right now that has over 40,000 leads going back 3 years. And of those 40,000 leads, they converted about 5%, right? So 5%, couple thousand. That means that all those other people never bought anything from them. So now we're going back and engaging all those people in different ways. And one of those ways is email marketing. And I can tell you that it works. No, it's not going to revolutionize your business and you're not going to generate a bunch of leads. But if you're in an industry right now today that is still active, then those leads are going to be important. And I would venture to say too, even if you're in an industry where you've been dormant, like gyms, for example, if you're LA Fitness or if you're the YMCA, right, you have thousands of people that come to your website every year that are interested in becoming a member. Go back to those people, because once this kind of passes and things start to normalize it, whether it's 3 months from now or 6 months from now, whatever it is, those people will remember, right? And you're not trying to sell them now. When I say leads, I'm not trying to sell them on a product or service. I'm trying to sell them on my brand, who I am, and how I can be helpful to them, okay? So that's your leads. And then lastly, we'll get to the social here. So on the social media side of things, I'm not the biggest fan today of social media marketing unless you're a lifestyle brand or an e-commerce company that sells actual products and ships it, okay? Everyone wants to talk about how fantastic social media is. And the reality is, most of you know, if you've done Facebook ads, if you've spent time on social media, you can't point to a lot of conversion, right? So you got to take a step back and know that social media is there for you to engage with your customer. And you need to do that, no matter whether you're an e-commerce or a service-oriented company. You need to be there to engage with them. So I don't want to contradict what I said earlier. All I'm trying to say is, if you go into social media thinking the goal is to sell, generate more customers, for certain industries, unless you're spending money on ads, it's just not going to happen. You could see the number of people that are on these social media platforms, over 1 billion on Instagram, 330 million on, Twitter. By the way, Reddit also has 330 some million. So there are other websites that have just as many people, and Facebook over 2 billion. But again, it's over 2 billion is what they say. What number of people are active? Well, you're only going to know if you start to work on social media and don't spend a lot of time creating tons of content unless you already have a channel there that works. For example, groups. Definitely what works today in Facebook is groups, creating communities. So if you have customers who I would, if I came in and did an analysis of your customer base, and I found out that they were raving fans and they love your product or service, they love your customer service, I would say, let's create a community. And a community would simply be a group or a forum where we congregate on a weekly basis. I could do live videos, I could do webinars, I could do a lot of things to keep them engaged. And groups definitely works. Now, Facebook business pages, unless you're doing ads, it's just not going to work. All the other social media platforms, pretty much the same. There are outliers out there. There are definitely, I will hear criticism from other marketers who says, no, I am killing it on social media. And to that, I say, share your case study. Show me where someone is not spending ad dollars and not using influencer marketing and just generating boatloads of leads and sales. It just isn't happening. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't be there. Be there for your customer. Do customer service. Use Messenger. Communicate with them. good for branding, good for customer service. For leads and sales, you need to do advertising. You need to do advertising. So again, you don't want to overlook it, but it's not the end all either, depending on your product or service or industry. So again, you know, today it's really about adapting. We know that marketing, like every other field of work, sales, customer service, accounting, legal, every area of our businesses as business owners, we know is hard. And today, all of them are just really, really difficult. We wake up, we go to sleep, and everyone is trying to optimize and figure out how do you make it through the next week or day. So, you know, it's hard, and consumer behavior, no one has the crystal ball for how consumer behavior is right now, not even Google. So it's up to you to test. I'm not saying you're going to go back to this slide presentation and touch on customer journey, website, you know, the funnel, the landing pages, the content, social media. That's a lot. It's a lot for you to do. What I'm saying is pick the one that you haven't done, pick the one that maybe some of your competitors are succeeding with, and test, and see it through, right? And most importantly, make sure that you have the analytics. So whether it's Google Analytics or analytics or insights in social media or through your email marketing, what I want you to do is try one of these tactics for 3 months, any of them, for 3 months, stick with it, be consistent. And at the end of that time, go back and measure it. Look at the analytics. And if you so desire and want to be more aggressive, do the analytics weekly, because you don't want to waste time. But I understand for most business owners, it's not how it works, you know? So that's pretty much what I'm working with here right now today with clients. It's very unstable, the ad world online. There is no sure thing. So again, you have to really depend on the media that you own, your website, your email, your content. Talk to your customers. And that's, you know, really solid advice that I've been giving to clients and working with them to adapt. And I can tell you in most cases, it is working. You know, it is working. You don't want to have, you know, high attrition, customers leaving you. So being there for them is a way to make sure they don't leave you. So that's pretty much it for digital marketing and how to do it in a pandemic. I guess we're going to open it up for questions. We can, if we want, we can go back to the 3 poll questions that we used. Oh yeah, and the last slide here on the Q&A is that we have a free website audit tool that is connected to a few different applications. And what it does is it does a website audit for you and tells you where you're suffering. Is it your speed? Is it your structure? And it's very simple. And again, you're not going to fix all those things, but you are going to fix the ones that can really help you today. So you're welcome to go on that link at the bottom there and do it. And again, we're here to be helpful. Again, not selling anything. The chamber's not selling anything. It's being helpful. And I think I've been in the community long enough, guys. And I was, you know many of you at the chamber. And I just want to say, you know, again, we have to stick together. I want to be helpful. I'm not really necessarily looking for business today, as I think the chamber is doing the same. It's really just looking to help our brothers and sisters out there. So with that said, I'm here. Let's continue the conversation. Thank you.
Hi, Alex. We actually had a question regarding the education piece on the leads.
Sure.
Someone wanted you to repeat the name of the learning content platforms that you were recommending.
Yes, absolutely. So LearnDash is the quickest and most cost-effective way of doing it. So LearnDash is you could use it as a plugin if you have a WordPress website, or if you have a different website, you can always just create a LearnDash account and build your courses on there. Then there's Teachable. Teachable, we've personally used with another course that we created. And I believe the plans there they start around 30, 40 bucks a month. And then there's Thinkific. Thinkific is also a very good one. Those are like the top three.
Thank you. Just a reminder, you can use the chat button at the bottom of your screen to ask any questions or virtually raise your hand. I will call on you.
I saw a question about ADA compliance, right? Was there a question about that? And I think Michael actually asked about that. Very important. ADA compliance is Americans with Disability Act, right? People who have a type of disability but still need to access your website. So there are a bunch of free applications that you can use to optimize your website so that you are compliant. And there are other paid applications. We've used one that is free that works very well and it's very easy to install, and it's called UserWay, userway.com. So I'll see if I can add it here to the chat. Yeah, userway.com is the company. And again, for free, you can make your website ADA compliant and make sure that you are, helping anyone access your website and your content.
Another viewer asked, what are the two sites that you recommended? It was Reddit and...
Oh, and Quora. Yes, definitely Quora.com. I'll add that here too, Quora. Very easy to create an account on there. It's not as busy as social media. If you enjoy reading and, consuming long form content that is really good, you're going to find that there. Definitely. Any other questions?
Those are all of the questions I see right now.
Okay. Yeah, again, I wanted to make it, easy, concise, but as always, no one has time or budget to implement all of those things. I will give you one good, optimistic view of employment, talent. I think everyone that's here who has hired people, we know that the talent acquisition funnels are very hard to build. It's hard to train people, find good people. With more than 30 million people unemployed, and that is unfortunate, there is a lot of people out there who are really good at what they do, who have proven that they've delivered results in their industry, and they need work. And so if you need help, what I'm doing and seeing also clients do is reach out to some of the best people in their industry and ask them to come on as and I wouldn't say an apprentice. You don't want to insult someone who's got 10, 15, 20 years experience and say, hey, you're going to be an intern. But people aren't willing to come on a trial, month by month basis. And so contract them as a 1099, collaborate with them, and be helpful. So that talent pool, if you spend any time on LinkedIn, you will see the talent pool is gigantic. So why am I saying that to you? Well, if you guys are right now saying, gosh, Alex, I don't have the budget for doing any of this. I don't have the time. I just need leads and sales. Well, as I mentioned, there's a lot of marketers too who are out of a job right now. Okay. And so if you go on LinkedIn, connect with people and see if they're willing to do some work for you, freelance, right? And just build that relationship. And I can tell you, my company, we are already doing that. And I have a few other clients who didn't even have career pages on their website. So if your company is a little bit larger size, I would say stop and think about your career pages. Build a career page and start to generate some of those talent leads so that when things bounce back, you're ready to, interview people.
I see we have Miss Jennifer Thomason. She raised her hand. Jennifer, if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Alex. I did type a question in there. That's my leadership BOCA 2018. So good to see you. Thanks so much for this amazing.
Good to see you too.
Piece you did on marketing. So my question was, I'm definitely interested in that audit. So how does that work? And if I was interested, how do I do that with your company? And then can you share your website with everyone?
Yeah, so sure. Our website is just predictmedia.com. And the link is on that last slide. But I can share it here as well. And so all you're going to do is put in your website and your email. That's it. Your website, your email. And then what our system does is we're connected to 3 platforms that crawl your website. So their bots crawl the website and look at everything, the content, the structure, the speed. And then it'll just send you an automated email. So we're not doing it manually. It'll send you an automated email and give you the list of things that you need to focus on. No doubt that some of those things you don't have to pay attention to, but there are other things that you do. And so I think it's important to, when anybody does an audit for your social media or your website or digital presence, is to say, great, if you're not doing well here, why should I put time here? Am I going to have results if I do this? Like, for example, I would tell you speed is key. If your website is slow, 100%, it's going to be beneficial to you. Another thing that I see a lot of websites lack, security. So if you don't have an SSL certificate on your website, right? So that's the difference between a website with HTTP versus HTTPS. When your website has that little S, it means it has the SSL certificate, and the browsers recognize it as a safe and secure website. So why am I saying that? Because browsers like Chrome today, they are blocking websites that deliver pages that are not that don't have the S or have the SSL certificate. So if you don't have an SSL certificate on your website, which you can get for free, by the way, you don't really need a paid one unless you're collecting payments on your website, okay? So if you go to your hosting company, they will absolutely be able to tell you which SSL certificates are free and which are paid. And if, look, a paid SSL is as low as $20 per year. So there's no reason not to do it. And what that does is a third-party company comes in and makes sure that your company is legit, the address is what it is. And this way, users, when they visit your website, they can feel like, okay, you're not a hacker, right? And it's a safe website. So the SSL certificate is one of those things that will come up on the audit, and it might scare you because you'll say, oh my God, my website is not secure. So if it's not, definitely get it. It's something that you can implement in the matter of minutes. If you have a web developer, it's a 20 to 30-minute task. Not that hard. It's grabbing a little code, dropping it in there, and that's it.
Any other questions? Thanks for the thumbs up, Jen. Thank you so much, Alex, for your presentation. We greatly appreciate your expertise. We love that you're all here today and you got to learn something new. Thank you for being here with us. Please be sure to check out the Chamber's website, look at some constantly updated information regarding COVID-19 on our COVID-19 resources page. Be sure to check, you can share any one of our virtual events that we have been putting out there, whether they're Chamber members or not. If you know somebody who may feel that it may be beneficial for them to see any of these webinars, please feel free to share it with them. We want to help as many people as possible. Please be sure to download our app. How many people have downloaded their app? Yay! There's tons of information at your fingertips. You can find the Boca Chambers app in your Google Play Store or your Apple Store. And give us your feedback. We'd like to know, what you think, or if there's anything that you feel that we're not doing so good or that we're doing great. Let us know. We can only do better if we know what we need to do. We don't know what we don't know. But thanks again for you all being here today. We greatly appreciate your time. Stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Alex.
Bye. I'm going to share a link, Chastity.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to share a link here. It's just something interesting that came to mind for all the women. Sarah Blakely, the CEO of Spanx, she just had a live LinkedIn podcast yesterday. And this link, globalgiving.org/red backpack fund, she's giving $5 million to 1,000 women. And she's basically picking 1,000 women and giving $5,000 to each. So if any of you are startups or women-owned businesses, go to that link and you can apply for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Go apply for that, ladies. Check it out. See you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Bye.
Thank you.